Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30 this Tuesday, January 21st, and we got to the 2 o'clock hour and got a little bit of a pullback, but it doesn't look like it's any significant selling on that. They're right back up again and modestly optimistic on the long side. Look at that thing, right? So they were sloppy most of the day today. Late in the afternoon, we started getting some lift, and then, as you can tell, we're not quite up here against this edge, but I'm pretty positive now that we're going to get a test of that. So I'm going to fold this together, and as you can see, it looks to me like this rundown we had, it almost looks like a move out of the middle from that mode here down at the 59.85s. That was the ideal overnight rundown, and then stall, 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 and then now there's grinding this higher. So I'm going to start from the long side, looking for a retest of this edge. That's kind of the dynamic I'm looking for. Folding that together. Let me back up again. Come on, get this guy going. F1, there you go. So I'm looking for a retest of this edge at the 6,095s to the 6105. So it's a 10-point range here. So the 95, 6505, these two areas of resistance. If both of them comes out, we are going to be well on our way to all-time highs. But at this point, that's the spot I'm going to be looking for a short setup. I'm going to look for failure to take out this edge for potential rotations right back down again. And if that holds, chances are we're going to see a reverse retest of the 6,040s. That's kind of the that would be the dynamic I can see happening. But at this point, starting off from the long side, looking to buy weakness at this point against the 75s, against the 70s. Probably going to be an adjustment here down and make one edge out of this area, the 50s, for rotations back up. Maybe a small edge right here at the 40s as well. So 40s, 50s, 70s, and the 80s for rotations back up again. Now, if they start taking out this area, the 50s, I'm thinking I'm taking off that long bias and going back range bound. So that three-letter edge at this point, I'm going to key in on that one as a change of bias. So that's kind of the dynamic to get started in the overnight. I have not taken any trades on the ES today. I did a few trades on the NASDAQ. Some reason that NASDAQ kind of just gets me going. It's like an immediate gratification when you trade that one. The ES is a little bit sloppier, a little bit slower, but if it depends on how quickly you want your gratification, right? But news for tomorrow, though, we have mortgage apps at 7. We have 10 o'clock, we get Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations and leading indicators. And that's about it. So leading indicators and these mortgage apps tomorrow. I don't think none of that is really going to do much to drive the market. 20-year bond auction at 1. It could be an interesting dynamic there, but see how that coverage is. But at this point on the ES, I'm starting from the long side, unless we trade back down and close below that 670s. 6,070. If we close below that edge, I'm going to start range bound. But if they hold these two support areas, I'm going to start off on the long side and see how far they can take it. So that's the ES. No trades there. I did take a few NASDAQ trades and a couple of oil trades, and this is both from yesterday and today. So I have 4 round turns on the NASDAQ. I'm up 21. I did not trade it any further after that. I got shaken out of that trade. I thought I'd show you that one. I was sitting in that. This is this one right there. So I was long here as they started grinding out of that range. I ended up having to fade some heat and slop in the middle. It's like I managed to hold on to the position even if they had a little stop run going there. And as they started running up, they ran up, ran down, stopped me out, and then kept going. So at that point, I stopped and said, you know what? This is the choice word for it, right? So I didn't do anything there, but I mean, I'm up 21 on that one. So that's at least it's not the negative day. I was down 47 going into today on the NASDAQ. So I would start off from the long side on the NASDAQ as well. Looks like they're holding on pretty good. However, NASDAQ, big caveat, they're up against the 780 to 800s. So at this point, I'm looking for shorts against these areas of resistance. There could be a probe up here to the 850s. I would not be surprised. They've been stalling just shy of it. But round about this area, the 780s up to that 850, looking for a potential short setup for rotation back down. If they're going to fail this area, we may see a nice rotation right back down again. And that would be failure to take out this upper edge. And you see how clear it is on the F1, right? If that comes out, we have a good shot right to straight up. If it holds, we may see a nice rotation right back here to that 21.5 level. So could be a nice 300-point move to the downside back to the mode here if that area holds. So that's the trade-offs on the Nasdaq. So I'm going to be looking for short setups. I'm starting off on the long side, looking to buy weakness against the 680s. That's going to be the only one. And if that comes out, I'm starting off range bound. But looking to buy against that 680 level, that two little edge. And if they trade higher, looking for shorts against the 780s and the 850s. There could be something in between, but at this point, I don't have an edge for it just yet. All right. So that's big caveat in the Nasdaq. They're pretty close to that upper edge. When it comes to the bonds, they are holding about 113. So yields coming down, bond prices trading higher. Good sign. That means that we have a shot for the mid-small caps to actually make an effort. That's pretty good. You can see some of the small caps, especially the quantum stocks and that stuff, is really making a big push this morning. So we'll like that. Modular energy and quantum stocks, big movers. But we'll see if they can hold it. So if the 680 holds going into the close, starting off on the long side, if they take that out and close below it, starting off a range bound. Oh, that's the Nasdaq. And on the bonds, the 113 is the level I'm keying in on the bonds. So if they trade below the 113s, I'm taking off the long bias and going back range bound. But at this point, I'm going to buy against 13. It's going to be a 13.15. It's going to be at 13.10 and then 113s on the bonds. Looking at, let me see here, where are you there? Looking at our oil and gold. I did a few trades on oil, as I said. Came into this. I was up $15 going into today. I took one more trade and that was an immediate dud. That was looking for another reverse, an extension to the downside. So I got short on the way up here, looking for against that mode. On the when they pulled back, it turned out that they were not stopping. They traded higher, and I just did not re-engage it. That was kind of at that point I realized I'm wrong on the direction on this. So they haven't really moved higher. They just kind of stalled. So they've been holding on, but you can see they're slowly grinding lower. And maybe it's going to be like that. They're going to grind a little bit lower, then trade back up and go back and forth like this before you see a little bit of weakness. Overall, energy prices are going to come down. So it's a matter of how you trade it and where you can get short for moves to the downside. So I think capital flow is changing to the downside on oil, and I would look forward to trade it on the from the short side primarily. Unless something happens geopolitically, I think the oil price is going to start coming down and it's going to come down pretty good at that. But at this point, looks to me like capital flow is right about to change. Give it that 75 level, and that comes out. I think we have confirmation that we're heading lower. And then gold. So I'm down 13 on oil on that third and last trade. I gave up my $15 and lost a few more. So down 13 on those three trades. Gold, haven't traded gold. It looks to me like fine. It held at 61. So okay, fine. It took it a little bit higher than my edge up here against that 61 level. So now we can adjust this edge up a little bit. But here you go. As I said in the last update, I'm thinking they're going to rotate back to the 2750s, and they're heading right back down there. So range bound trading around 2750 is what I would start off. Not going to be, if anything, I would lean to the long side to see if they can retest these highs in the overnight, maybe take them out. But sometimes gold, when they do this, you see them take out the highs and get going in the overnight. So look for that. But it's if the edge 60s holds, look for a move down to the 50s and probably range bound trading around that area. All right, so back to the ES and it's kind of where we left it. So we'll wrap it there for now, guys, and I'll see you back bright and early in the morning. All right, guys. So far up 21 on the Nasdaq, down 13 on oil. So pretty much a break-even day for me. All right, guys, leave it there. See you back tomorrow.